Hey, what's up, guys? David here. Welcome back to my podcast video again. I hope you guys are doing great. So how do I say this? Yeah, so before we get started, let me just quickly turn on my fan because currently here in South Korea, it's like 35 degrees Celsius. So I have to turn on the fan or else I'll sweat a lot. If I sweat a lot, I'll feel uncomfortable, and I don't want that to happen. So yeah, well, anyway, now the fan is working, so let's get started. So today I'm going to talk about my favorite subjects because I think a lot of you guys will think that my favorite subject is uh, English and PE, right? But well, recently it has changed quite a lot, and that's why I want to share you guys my favorite subject and the reason like why I like that subject, and also I might share you guys the subject I hate and the reason. So yeah, I think that is going to be the concept of today's podcast. So yeah, let's get started. So first, I'm going to tell you guys my top one favorite subject. So well, you know what? I actually these days I'm talking about this subject quite a lot. So I guess if you're my subscriber and if you watch my video a lot, I guess you might guess, right? I guess you might have guessed. But yeah, it is math. Yeah, for someone like me, it has to be math. It's so obvious. Because first of all, math is so logical, right? It's perfectly logical. It's so perfect. Like, and also second, it has only one answer. That's why it's my favorite. Like let's say subjects like Korean and English, especially in descriptive question. You know, uh, each people have their own point of view, so they might have multiple answers, but math is different. It has only one answers. So yeah, this is why it's my favorite. Like, because I had the experience. Like, I was solving the Korean descriptive problems. And, I just wrote my idea, but teacher said it's quite weird. Like, I don't think it is a right. Uh, I don't think it's a good writing in this situation. So, she said I'm wrong, but I mean, each people have their own idea. We think different. So yeah, that's why I like something that is perfectly true, or I like something that has uh only one answer. So yeah, that's why math is my favorite. And also, um, whenever I solve how do I see? Yeah, I think I'm getting smarter as I keep solving, math problems. Like, uh, so yeah, like so now, so I have solved tons of math problems, and I also think a lot in my brains, like, why does that work? Well, does it really work? And you know, to try to find a solution and something like that. And now in my brain, like the way I think, that my thinking skill is in on the another level. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, you guys can you yeah, I don't think you guys can imagine. Like, um so since I have a lot of experience and since I learned a lot, and so now you know what I can do. So yeah, like let's say there's a geometric problem, and if I look at the geometric problem, right now, like I can solve the problem like this. So yeah, I just look at the problems for like 30 seconds, and I close my eyes and I look up like maybe if I rearrange the shapes, then I think I can solve this problem easily. And I solve the problem without using the pencil, without using pen. So, just using, I'm solving the entire problem, only using my brain like this, thinking in my brain. And yeah, when I solved it and when I got the correct answer, I feel like, I'm over the moon. Yeah, I feel very excited. So, yeah, that's why, math is my favorite subject. So, right now, math is my favorite subject, but I feel certain that it is going to be my favorite subject in the future as well. I think it's going to be my favorite subject for forever. So yeah, well, anyway, all right. That is, yeah, math. This is why it is my top one favorite subject. And also, like, uh, yeah, this one is quite surprising. Well, you know what? Uh, history is my favorite. Yeah, can you guys can believe that? That I like history. That history is my favorite. Um, I mean, yeah, like a year ago, it was my least favorite subject, right? Uh, so yeah, I mean, when I was in first grade, I didn't have to study history. So instead, I had to study social studies. So um, yeah, but it was better, right? And yeah, when I realized that I didn't have to study history when I was in first grade, I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah, I didn't have to study history, which is my worst subject. Oh, yeah, and yeah, and then when I turned into the second grade, and then when I realized that I have a history subject, you know, I was like, yeah, finally this happened to me. Like, I have to study my history, which is my worst subject. Oh, it's terrible, right? But yeah, but I realized that I have no choice. That I have to learn history, and I have to take the history exam. So I was like, oh, well, if I can avoid it, why don't I just enjoy, right? And I try to enjoy. At first, it was really difficult. Like when I opened the history book, it was really boring, and I felt sleepy when I was reading history book. And I also had And my point of view about the history was like, why would I have to memorize all these dead people's name and the indecent state? Or even though yeah, let's say, yeah, if I have all the information in my brain, like where can I use them in the general life, like in the daily life? Or yeah, it's not useful at all. I'll say it's useless. Yeah, I had the negative point of view for the history, but now that was me 1 year ago, but now I'm a now my mind about history has completely changed. So yeah, but I have no choice, right? I have to take the exam and I have to study because yeah, like the rule, like the law for the middle school students, like I mean, yeah, does this the subject system is like the mandatory system. So we have to learn. Like if the school says, learn math, learn history, learn Chinese writing, then I have no choice but to, follow what they said. So, so yeah, I was learning history. Well, at the time, I didn't really like it. But then as I keep reading the book, I was like, oh, I start to fall in love with history. It was like, oh, well, actually, it's quite interesting. It's not that bad. And now history is my favorite subject. So, well, you know what? I think this is the good side of the uh I think this is the good side of the mandatory system because I guess yeah, if the middle schools, I guess if we were able to choose the subject that we want to study, then I would have probably not choose the history. And I might hate the history for maybe like forever, you know. So, but yeah, but since the system is mandatory system, yeah, I started to like history, and now it's just my favorite. So yeah, well, anyway, all right, that is done for the history, and now I'm gonna. Well, actually, you know what? Yeah, I have to tell you guys about the P. Well, yeah, P used to be my favorite subject, but now P is not my least favorite subject, but it's like in the middle, or maybe a little bit below the middle. The reason why is because like especially in the like especially in summer, I mean it's very hot, right? Like it's like 35 degrees Celsius or over 35. Um, and usually on at like if you play sports or basketball in the very hot day, I mean you sweat a lot, right? So yeah, that's how I sweat a lot when I do the PE. And after I finish the P and I go to the class, right? And when I'm going to the class, I meet my friend, and yeah, my friends sometimes they are kind of joking me like, "Did you take a shower? Like, why are you so wet?" Because I'm sweating a lot. And also in that case, since I sweat a lot, my whole clothes is wet, and I'm very uncomfortable, right? I want to take a shower, but I can't. I have to wait until the school ends, right? So yeah, so I have no choice but to take the next class, while I'm wearing a whole wet clothes. And also, yeah, like but at least if the weather is cooler, then it might dry faster. But the weather is very hot, right? So yeah, like it is not drying until the class ends, or even the school ends. Like I'm still wet sometimes, and in that case, like it's really hard to take the next class because yeah, I mean, yeah, so after I finished PE class, like yeah, my whole clothes is wet, right? And and if I want to take the class, I have to sit on the chair. Right? Like, I can, stand up while the class and just, walk around, right? I mean, that's illegal, or else I would get kicked out of the class. So yeah, I have to sit on the chair, and yeah, like so the my pants is wet, right? So if I sit on the chair, like the pants, since I sweat a lot, since there's a water, it stick on my butt, and yeah, I'm really just it's really discontent. Like it's terrible. It is a terrible feeling, and so yeah, since I'm so discontent, I can't concentrate. Like even though the teacher said it's important, you guys must listen to this, uh, but I can't listen because I feel so uncomfortable. So yeah, that's why uh, this is this is one of the reasons why I hate PE. And also, yeah, and but some of you guys will think like, but yeah, that is only for summer, right? Maybe for like winter, also the weather is cool, so even you sweat a lot, it will dry faster. But well, you know what? Yeah, I like in on how do I say in winter, I injured a lot. Yeah, winter is a season. I injured a lot. I injure a lot. Because like usually winter is cold, right? So like our body and the bones are hardened, uh, and also like usually you get injured easily when it's cold, right? But you know what? I mean, so because of that, usually in winter we do the stretching, like the warm up exercise before we start before we start playing sports or before we start exercise. But still, even though we finish the warm up exercise, we're still not warm up. Like, or in the other hand, we're even more colder because we've been staying in the outside for more time, right? So yeah, and so since we can easily injure, everyone plays very carefully, like because they are also afraid of getting injured. And yeah, no one plays very actively. And well, in that case, it's not very fun, right? I mean, because everyone's plays kind of casually, and it's not very fun because it's not active at all. So yeah, this is why P is not my favorite subject. I mean, yeah, but yeah, it's like that's why it's like in the middle. Okay, so yeah, that's all for the P. And now, well, yeah, well, yeah, and also I have to tell you, it's like I, I mean English, yeah, English is still my favorite subject. Yeah, I think yeah, it is going to be my favorite subject for forever. Like, how can I hate English? So the reason why I think I like English, yeah, in my opinion, I think I enjoy English because like I'm the best in the class. Like no one can speak better than me. And also yeah, this is the normal thing, right? Like I mean, if you're the best person in the whole class, then you feel excited and you enjoy. Like you think that subject is more enjoyable, right? So yeah, that's the exact feeling that I'm having right now. So yeah, English is yeah, that's why it's my yeah, that is one of the reasons why I like English. And also like the textbook. How do I say? Yeah, so usually on English textbook, there's a lot of story. There's a lot of funny story. There's a lot of fun story that's written in English. And in that case, yeah. So most times the stories are fun. So I read the story and also practice my reading at the same time, right? Yeah, like it couldn't be better. Yeah, it's really I mean it's perfect, right? Because I practice English and read the story at the same time. And also, yeah, stories are very fun. So, and I like reading fun stories. So, yeah, and I also like, yeah, so that's why English is, that is one of the reason. And also, how do I say? Like, I learned a lot of, new and interesting information from the English textbook, like, yeah, mostly from the stories. Um, yeah, I think I can tell you guys the thing I learned recently. So yeah, like I learned that like there's a lot of story, right? And yeah, on one of the stories, yeah, they were talking about the monkey. You know, I mean, I don't remember I don't remember their names, but yeah, there was a typical monkey, and that they how do I say there was a typical monkey, and actually they actually floss their teeth. Uh, I mean, like usually humans do that, right? Usually humans floss their teeth, but yeah, it was quite surprising. Yeah, they also floss their teeth, and yeah, the story was like this. If you go to zoo and like if you got close to the cage to look at the monkey closely, then they might come to you and pull out your hair, and they use human hair to floss their teeth. It's very interesting, right? I mean, they're quite smart because they know how to use tool. Usually, human use tool, and a lot of like alive creatures, like animals. No, they're not as smart as human, but yeah, that monkey he's quite yeah that the monkey's quite smart. So yeah, so that was the new information I learned, and also I learned that like the octopus also use tools. So on the story it was like the octopus usually use coconut shell to protect themselves when they meet their enemy. Like their enemy, like sharks. They hide inside the coconut shell. Yeah, it's quite brilliant, right? And you know what is even more surprising? They even pile the coconut shell for the later use. How smart they are. So yeah, that was also very interesting. So yeah, I learned this kind of new and interesting information. So yeah, like yeah, same as men. This is now my favorite subject, but it is going to be my favorite subject in the future as well. So yeah. So to sum up, my favorite subject right now is math, English, and history. And P is not my favorite subject anymore. So yeah, yeah. So now I guess we're done, right? Yeah. Well, thank you for thank you for watching my video. Well, I guess I have to go now. It was really fun, uh, like sharing my favorite subject and the reason. And so yeah, I think I'll be back next week. So until then, take care and goodbye.